Hello, guitar nerds. I am back, making a video. I know, it's exciting. Um, so I'm on the road right now. Although I'm at my shop, I'm on the road, technically, with Triumph. It's been a few weeks, and we happen to have 2 days off, less than 2 hours from my shop. So I just booked it over to my shop with Todd's bass. We had a Todd Kerns, who's playing bass in Triumph at the moment. Regularly plays with Slash. That's his regular gig. But so I was taking some old strings off his bass. Piece of the nut came off with the string. So it's an issue. It's a pretty big issue. So all I had was blanks. I even sent a runner to Long and McQuaid to look for a pre-made graph tech that I could just fine tune for the bass, and no results. So I'm at my shop right now, and I have 1 day to make a new nut. So here we are, and I just want to show a couple things. You want to check how it's fitting in here. Make sure it's sitting nice and flat. And you're wanting to make sure, like obviously on both sides, what I just said, but you want to make sure you check if the slot is radiused or flat, or otherwise you'll have to shape the nut to the radius of the fretboard. So that's the thing. What else? The fit. Super tight fit, no wiggle at all. This nut was flopping in the wind. I wish I should have actually... Well, I mean, why don't I take this out? Although, this is a good time to show you the fit. You want it to be... Okay, well, there you go. But yeah, it's tight as shit. Whereas this thing had a whole bunch of wiggle room. Anyways, you want to be able to basically, pick the instrument up by the nut. But this is a heavy-ass bass. Anyways... I'm sorry, just trying to blast through some points. The nut, as you're filing it down to size or sanding it down to size, you want to check different orientations, see what fits best, and then mark it. So I've marked bass side, treble side. The top is marked, back. Is that all? Yeah. And then I know that that's the best fit. And it's actually hard to fully get in the slot. That's a good sign. It's good fit, good fitting. So yeah, and this is what I started with. Just a thick blank. And right now it's only thinned to size. I obviously have to adjust the rest, but I figured I would start documenting the process. And it's super fucking sweet bass. This thing is solid as hell. Sounds awesome. Some Seymour Duncans in there. I'm not sure which model, and I won't, bother taking them out to find out. All you gotta know is they're Seymour Duncans and they sound great. Yeah, super sweet bass made by Prestige with a new bone nut on the way. I will document as much as I remember to. So here you go. That was the start for it. All right, so I'm gonna hit this on the belt sander, and I'm just taking away all the pencil marking to get it down to approximate height, and then we'll talk about shaping, slotting, all that fun stuff. All right. Sorry if there's exhaust fan noise that you can hear, but we're gonna roll with it. So I've got the nut pretty close to what I need it to be, and at this point I turn the belt sander off and I just do the rest by hand. So you keep it flat, square, and you basically use your whole arm motion like so. Very mechanical. And that's the easiest way to just stay level and square, for me at least. And Dan Earlywine has always said that, like, use the whole mechanics of your arm, not just like, I don't know. Something like that. Check fairly often. I don't know if the markings are really gonna show up, but you can see there's some pencil left, but it's super close. And I'll start kind of radiusing it a little bit. That was a 16-inch radius on that fingerboard. So I'll kind of just like generally match it, but just give it a little bit of a radius while we're doing this. Yeah, so we're getting pretty damn close to where we need to be. So I'll keep doing this and show you the next step. Okay, for slotting, I have this fancy StuMac string spacing rule. So you just line up, there's small notches, or like, I don't know. There's one row of notches, then slightly below there's a second row. So you bounce between the two, figuring out what the best spacing is for your nut. In my case, I'm just using the old nut. It was spaced properly. Everything was good on that end of things. So I line up the notches in the middle of the old nut slots. Sorry, trying to get my thoughts together here. Line up the little notches to the center of the old slots, and I'm just going to copy that. So now I'm going to basically put masking tape on both ends of this rule so I know like exactly which slots I'm using. And yeah, then we'll do some pencil markings on the blank and get back to you. So I do exactly this with the masking tape before taking the nut off. And even make like little arrows, bass, treble. And yeah, that's about it. So I've marked it and I double check. Sometimes the angle's weird depending where I'm placing the camera, but lines up nice. Yeah, so now I'm gonna install it in there for good. Add probably just like 2 drops of wood glue, not super glue. And yeah, I mean, fucking barely needs it. It's a good tight fit. It's hard to get it out. Oh, so ideal. So yeah, couple drops of wood glue, clamp it in there, and we'll get back to you. Okay, got my glue bottle on its side, and I've officially now doused the toothpick with glue, which is not even what I wanted to do, but a byproduct of having it on its side. So, okay, terrible aim. So I'll throw that in there. Little dab here. Oh, this glue's getting old. Little dab there. I'm trying to stay out of the way of the camera, and it's making this way harder than it needs to be. I already have enough glue in there, but I want to get the edges a little bit more. All right, let's put this here for now. I have these little carpet pads cut. Put it behind the neck. Might want to put the actual nut in there. Try to squeeze the glue in a little bit. So, checking up the lining up of it. Does that make any sense? Not sure, but making sure it's not hanging off on one end and not at all on the other end. See, even that could come a little tiny bit over. You've got some decent time with wood glue, as you probably already know. But no point in dilly-dallying. Think I'm liking this fit. Pressing it down. Very minimal squeeze out. Glue squeeze out. All right. Little pad, little clamp. Just lightly clamping it right now. And now adding the pressure. Not too much, doesn't need anything crazy. Done. Clamped. Glued and clamped. Some good progress is going on here. And I have all of tomorrow to finish this nut and make it perfect. Not bad. So I'm going to call it for the night. Although I've been known to say such things and then just keep working till 3 a.m. or whatever. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Good. Gonna have one of his main basses back in the mix. We went 2 shows with just P bass backups that I got runners to go get. Just yeah, because I don't feel great not having a backup bass for somebody. So cool stuff. I'm gonna get this back in the mix, and I'm sure he'll be happy. And I get to work on a sweet ass bass. All right, so I let this dry overnight, and here we are. I'm gonna start shaping it, slotting it, clean up a little bit of the glue squeeze out here. All right, focus, come on. And that's it. We're gonna keep hacking away at this thing. And we're back. Nut is glued in. Let it sit overnight under the clamp tension. And I'm gonna take it down just a notch, start shaping and slotting. So, one thing I've been doing for years to, like when I want to mask a headstock or a fingerboard, I use an old drum head and cut up pieces to use for masking. It's thin, super tough, and it's yeah, I've always had an abundance of drum heads lying around. Played at drums for many years in bands in my previous life. Feels like a lifetime ago now. But yeah, so I cut up pieces of the mylar from a drum head or whatever this, not mylar, I forget what these are made out of. Yeah, that's it. All right, so I've cut up some drum head right there, and looks crazy, eh? Even bent a little notch for the lip of the fretboard. I'm gonna tape that down, and it's just being extra safe, you know? You'll rip through tape real quick with a file, so this is like really good guard that I make every time for whatever instrument I'm working on. Every time I make a nut or I'm slotting pretty deep, you know, and you need to have that downward angle pretty hard at the back. So I just make little guards to really be protected. So, moving on. All right, we're all masked up. I've transferred the slot lines to the top, even though I did that prematurely because I'm about to sand them down. But I'm gonna start shaping. Here we go. Okay. So I've roughly shaped just a tiny bit of shape. Put in some slots, some starter slots with, let's see, this one needs adjusting. Oh, yeah, I should film it. So this is what I use. I forget what these are called. Pull saw or something. But it's basically a 10,000th of an inch. And it's like tapered, so it gets bigger the deeper you go. But that's what I use to start my slots. Then I use a 10 gauge, 0.010 to start these a bit deeper. Then I go up to proper size, proper gauge size. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna start doing the slots a little bigger and deeper. Okay, we have some decent slots started here. I'm sure they're gonna need to come down quite a bit, and I'll touch up the top very lightly, but at least this will get me kind of started. I'll get some strings on soon, see how they're sitting, because the files aren't exact gauge size. Like 110 is going to be the top string, so you know, I do a little side filing, open it up a bit more. So I'm going to check how strings are sitting on there, and we'll get back to it. I actually forgot to take strings out of my work box, which is, you know, in a truck now, somewhere down the road. But so I'm just going to use some from my shop. Same gauge, same brand that he already uses, so here it is. Okay, I've just been hacking away at this thing, not really documenting that much, so I am sorry. So I'm getting the nut slots to depth at this point. Pretty much tune the base up. I'm fretting the, I should get a stand and show you. All right, so essentially, I hit my open string, get that nicely in tune. Fret the first gently, don't power grip it. And you want to get that first fret as in tune as you can. So it's close. Yeah, so that's it. There's lots of info out there about how many thousandths of an inch you want the bottom of your string to be from the fingerboard at the first fret. I don't do any of that. I just tune it. I just make sure the open is in tune. Bring down the first slot so that the first fret is in tune. Then once that's done, I proceed with intonation and regular setup. But that's how I get my nut slots. Just a little extra note that once you're getting close, you need to go really slow, because it's a fine line between having your first fret in tune and having a nut slot that is too low and now is buzzing on the open. So got to be careful once you're getting close, like to the point where I'll do one stroke in the nut slot, check it, another stroke, check it, that kind of thing. Okay, another thing I'm coming across here, because my nut file is a little bit small for the slots, I'm running into the point where you can hear the string getting bound in it a bit. See that? Didn't come out of the slot easily. It's kind of getting pinched. So with the closest size file that I have to the string that I'm addressing, I just take off the sides just a tiny bit. The opening as well. The back side of the nut slots we're going to open up once we have like depth and everything. But right now we're kind of opening up a little bit of the front, a little bit of the sides. See, still getting bound. So I'll work on that a little bit and show you once it's done. All right, check it out. Even if you can't see well, you hear the difference. Before, it was getting pinched and releasing under the tension, like you would hear it pop out. Now it's free flowing. Okay, so maybe I'll zoom out here. Next thing I'm doing is opening up the back of the nut slots. These cute little Music Nomad files, diamond files. You can remove the actual file insert part. And I do that to kind of be more meticulous and just be more precise with the file. So I'll kind of do a 45 degree going downwards, only hitting the back edge. I hit up the little corners at the top and work my way down, kind of like at a 45 degree, kind of just opening up the back of the slot. You do not want to touch the front of the slot at all, because it is now at the level it needs to be. So yeah, very careful. Make sure you don't touch the front of the slot. But open up the back a little bit for better flow and non-stickage. All right, guys. I went pretty hard on this today. And when I was basically finishing up the nut, giving it a setup, I noticed the bridge was off of the back, like at least 1/8 of an inch. For some reason, I took pictures, but not a video. I just got into like a zone where I was not picking up my camera to film stuff, and like, so I might include a couple pictures. So, and I think I've shown this process in another video anyways, so I didn't show the whole taking the bridge off, taking the posts out. I'd make little tiny shims with like toothpick shavings, add a couple drops of super glue, and repress the post insert in the holes. So I did all that. It's back to flat. Restrung it. I just have like no real tension on it right now because I don't want to yank those posts out. So real quick in the morning, I'll tune it up and maybe do a little recap video, and off to load-in for 8 a.m. to actually use this base. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm just gonna go to bed and update this whole situation in the morning. Alright guys, I totally forgot to do an update on this base, but it is done. New bone nut. It's marvelous. Re-glued the inserts into the body. Bridge is sitting nice and flat now. I did the paper test. I don't really have a piece of paper, but stuff a piece of paper in there, see if it slides in. We have April Wine sound checking in the background, so it's a little loud. But yeah, just to cap off the video, this base is done. Feels great, sounds great. We're in a Winnipeg hockey arena. This is my fancy touring workbox, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends.